think it's just loading.
Okay.
God.
I'm checking too to see.
I think it's live. I think we're good.
We're live.
Sounds
We
like
are live.
All right, great. Welcome, everyone.
Howdy.
Hi, I'm Coach Kate, joined by Coach Sharon D. and Angie and James this evening.
Hi.
Hey,
And we also have Coach Sandy moderating as the health coach in our feed. And we are so excited to be here tonight. It is going to be an inspirational evening. And as I said, we are joined by Angie and James. How is everyone doing tonight?
good.
Good.
All righty. Folks who are just joining us, please take a moment to comment, say hello. And this is going to be fun. It's going to be engaging. And we want people who are watching to comment, to post. And Angie and James will share more of their stories. But just to give you a brief overview, they have been together for 19 years, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And they lost weight at the HMR clinic in San Diego, Sharp Weight Management.
Yep.
And both did the Healthy Solutions diet, and that is a minimum of 3 shakes, 2 entrees, 5 veggie fruits a day. Extra is needed. Angie lost and is maintaining 160 pounds. James lost and is maintaining 120 pounds. So my kids could perhaps calculate better than I can. However, 280 pounds between the two of you. Amazing, amazing
you.
job.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we've actually have a bunch of people joining. So I'm just gonna check through and see, like Kate said, as you're joining, say hi, comment, let me know where you're watching from. So we can see that you're here and we can interact with you. Like Kate said, this is going to be fun and engaging, and we're going to be chatting with you guys as we hear more from Angie and James as well. So we've got lots of people watching. We've got Mary, let's see, Jennifer, Katie's watching, Leslie, Bob from Rancho Cucamonga is here, Sandra, Pat, we have lots of people watching us right now. Susan from Boston. Awesome. So keep commenting as you guys are joining. We are so excited to be here with Angie and James. We're so excited to be here with all of you guys, and we're going to learn so much more and get so much inspiration from them. So why don't we just kind of dive in, and we're going to, for all of you guys watching, we're going to ask you to kind of comment and share a little bit about your journey as well as we're hearing from Angie and James. So I'm actually going to pull up Angie and James before and after pictures. We can see the amazing transformation. Let me just pull those up here. And while I'm doing that, I'd love to hear from Angie and James. I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of pre-HMR. You know, what inspired you? What motivated you to join HMR? What was it like before you joined? What was your big why for joining? And before you guys dive in, I want to also hear from people who are watching. Write in the comments, tell us your why. What is your reason for wanting to lose weight or work on your healthy lifestyle? So Angie, do you want to start us off and just share a little bit about what life was like for you before HMR and kind of what motivated you to join?
Sure. So pre-HMR, I've always struggled with weight my whole life, never to the extent that I got to, but it's always been, you know, a struggle. And I think through the years together, we both kind of gained a lot of weight together. And it just got to a point where I started having aches and pains and health issues that it was like, okay, this has got to be weight related. Ultimately led to I had to go to the hospital for health issues. And that was kind of the big wake up call. And in a conversation with my doctor, found out she was on this program. And I noticed all the weight she had lost and she looked amazing. So she recommended it to me. And I was like, if my doctor's recommending it, like, it's gotta be good. So
Must be good.
had trust in the program. And I was like, I'm just going to sign up for the orientation. I'm not going to think about it. I need to do something. You know, I'm kind of hitting a point where something's got to change in life. So that was kind of like the start of everything, is that conversation with my doctor, and just boom, from there it was like a rocket ship.
Wow.
That's
It's
amazing.
incredible to imagine you going to that appointment and seeing your doctor's transformation, and what timing for you to then realize you wanted to make a change yourself.
Yeah, it was like the stars aligned, honestly. You know, the stars aligned that it was like, whoa, she had lost like 80 pounds or something at that point. And it was like, okay, you're inspiring me. And this is
That's
amazing.
Amazing.
Oh.
So many of our participants have struggled all their lives, and then some people have had challenges later in life. And James, and getting to know you, your
Yeah.
experience with weight gain was a little different from Angie's, but one that we do hear often, that you had gained some weight later in life, gradually, consistently. Tell us a little bit about your weight gain and why the time was right for you at that point.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I ended up in the, I'll talk about my weight gain. Over the years, together we've, like she said, we kind of just gradually gained weight, not really paying attention. I've always been kind of not big, but kind of athletic, husky, I guess you'd say. And then like Angie, I ended up in the hospital about a month or so before her.
Wow.
And just started to realize, all right, there's, something's got to change. And it was, she motivated me. She was talking about the program, and she got into it, and I was like, all right, let's give it a try here. And it pictures say 1,000 words, so it definitely works. So
incredible. Let's take a moment, Sharon, and welcome some of the people who are joining us.
Yeah, and we've got some people who are talking about their why and their reason for losing weight. So Jennifer mentioned, my why has changed over time. Overall, it's always been to be healthy again. Let's see. Kelly is joining us, Kelly Joe. I wanted to lose weight to inspire others who have struggled as I have. I've struggled with my weight for most of my life, even as a child. It's been an emotional journey, and I'm sure many of us can relate to that. Sandra said down 23 pounds in 7 weeks.
Nice.
Love this program. Huge congrats. That's amazing. Let's see. Who else do we have?
Kelly Joe down 140 pounds with HMR.
Wow.
Thank you for saving
Good
my
job.
life.
Wow. That's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, really amazing. So keep commenting as you guys are joining. We're hearing from Angie and James about, right now we're talking about pre-HMR, what it was like for them, how they got to that point, what motivated them to join the program. They were inspired, they had gone through this whole journey, and they were inspired by, your doctor who had lost weight with the program, which is just so amazing. So I want to kind of talk about your journey on the program and hear a little bit about your experience there. Again, let's open it up to everyone watching. So for those of you who are watching, if you're on the program, talk about why it's so, or comment about why it's so important to be committed in phase 1. Angie and James, I want to hear from you guys, and I want everyone else to be commenting and let us know why it's so important to be committed. Angie and James, you were in the Healthy Solutions diet. You talked about the importance of being in the box and staying on track, staying on the diet. So Angie, do you want to start and just kind of share why it was so important to stay committed and kind of how you did that?
I think once I started, it was kind of like a whole new chapter began, and things that maybe prior hadn't been important to me all of a sudden were important. So just kind of having this new shift and seeing how the shift made me feel. Like I just felt my outlook was changing. I felt more positive about things in life. And I wanted to keep that going. I didn't want to go back to how I felt even emotionally before. So I think kind of maintaining the good momentum was like the hugest motivator.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, just keep on doing, keep on, environmental control, the more is better thing, all these different tactics within the plan. It was like I was trying to utilize everything in the arsenal to like keep it going because it felt too good. I just knew we were on a good path.
Yeah. So it sounds like seeing the results was your motivator to say like, this is working. Let's keep going. You feel good. So you want to keep working at it and keep up with that
Totally.
lifestyle.
For
But
sure.
it's like,
Absolutely.
it's not easy. So I'm just curious if there's anything you could expand on. Like, let's say, you're in phase 1 and, you slip up or something. That can be such a slippery slope, to eat out of the box. So do you feel like it was like a motivator for you to just stick with the program? Was there anything that like really helped you stay on track?
The one
Yeah.
thing for me was the accountability. I mean, they hold you accountable. You're keeping track of your fruits, your vegetables, your PA, even your water intake, and you're meeting every week with your coach, and they hold you accountable. You've got, and even if you do go out of the box or slip where, don't beat yourself up over it. Just get right back into it. And, everybody does it. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Totally. Wanted just to comment that Ocean, who was a success story a number of weeks back, just called you guys the dream team.
Aww.
He just said you guys are awesome, a true inspiration, hard work. Your why has carried you to amazing places. Kudos.
Thank
And
you.
he also said HMR saved my life. He's down almost 220 pounds.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is amazing.
That's awesome. Good
So-
job.
He's awesome.
There can be this misconception out there that, slow weight loss is the way to go. Or maybe there's this misconception like, I need to ease into the program. And you didn't do that by any means. You just committed to the box. And you also told us, both of you, that, when you saw the results week 1, that really fueled you to say, I'm going to do this by the book. I'm not going to have any wiggle room here. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So week 1, I think I was down like 9 pounds and he maybe lost like 10. We were right in that kind of like a decade loss, ballpark. And it was mind blowing. And those first few weeks, because, it's like you're making that shift and maybe you're adjusting, water loss as well. All these things, it's so motivating just seeing that every week, seeing your hard work, getting that instantaneous gratification it really propels you for sure.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Absolutely. I want to just read one of these comments. Jennifer Maple says, you want to see quick results, then be all in the box. She said, the more you cheat yourself, the longer it will take, and the more likely you are to get discouraged and quit like every program before, which is totally true. If you're, not staying in the box, if you're not sticking with the plan, you're not seeing the results, it's just going to take really long. And then you just lose all the motivation. You don't feel encouraged to keep going if you're not seeing those results.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a big thing for us too, was maintaining in that box. I mean, I didn't find it difficult once we started going, but then once you get going into the, you've got it set, your mind is, you're focused on just, this is what you need to do. And it was just awesome. So the box is where it needs to be.
Like we just completely rearranged our brains to be like, it's not even like an option. I think because we had gone through the health things and the hospital stays, it was like we were extra like motivated freight train. We were kind of like maybe a little freaked out too, to be honest. Like, oh, just need to do the things to get healthy and whatever. And it was like, okay, it's not even an option. This is just what we're doing. It's not an option to eat those expired Oreos in my cabinet or whatever. Like, that's not an option. Like, just eat the broccoli, eat the whatever, eat the entrees, eat the bars, It's all so yummy.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that story when you told us that you had cleared your environment so pristine and then somehow found Oreos, but then noticed they had expired.
Right? I'm like, how did I miss that?
And how bad could it really be?
Right, yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, Oreos.
Right?
Oreos don't go bad.
Yeah.
They'll last for years.
So a couple other comments here. We have, Danette for me, commitment in phase 1 proved how the program could work for me. I wanted to get healthy and set an example for my daughter as she grows. I didn't realize the amount of weight that I had gained. I didn't think about the quality of the food that I was eating. So that's common, you know, how you were saying too, James, things can just really get away from us over time.
Exactly.
And a lot of folks really speaking to Kelly Jo, staying committed kept me motivated. I stayed in the box. The pounds fell off week by week.
Yep.
I didn't go out of the box from the time I started. In February of last year until Christmas time, I've only been out of the box twice.
Wow. That's great.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was curious about is the notion of HMR foods. And that's something that can be different to some folks. And I want the audience to take a moment just to speak to the biggest benefit that you get from HMR foods. If you're in phase 1 or if you're in phase 2, what benefit do you get from eating the HMR foods? And when I got to know both of you previously, you just really seemed like you went all in with the HMR foods. I'm just curious how they supported you in phase 1, how you utilize them, how you really committed to that notion of really having them 100% with your veggies and fruits.
So I think the convenience obviously is like the biggest thing, you know, that it's like convenient to bring with you to work. You don't have to think about it at all. And they're just so good. Like the penne pasta with the meatballs, the little mini meatballs. Horrible, by the way. But it's so good. And the food is just so good. And the bars like feed that crunch when you're needing like a tougher, crunchier like mouthfeel and something sweet, and that kind of feels like a treat. It totally like fulfills that.
And mine for me was, you know, I work in construction, so I'm always out on the job site. And even when you don't have a microwave, you can still just peel the box open and you can eat them cold. I mean, it was so convenient. I had them, you know, in our cupboard. Once I'd leave the house, I'd walk out, grab one. I'd have my 2 shakes in the morning, and then my last shake at night. And then it was just so convenient just to have them right there. It was already planned out, ready to go. And I didn't have to worry about anything.
As a random aside, when the pandemic kind of like first started and toilet paper was like not available and food weren't available, we had access to our food. We're like, we didn't have that like food insecurity or that food fear of like grocery store has nothing in it. You know, we're like, we can just go to the clinic and do curbside pickup, or we can order it, you know, through the darn but we always knew there was going to be that security of food.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, I just want to recap a little bit because I think the sound was cutting out. So I want to make sure everyone heard, like throughout the pandemic, the whole time, as you were saying, like a lot of, you know, food was running out. We couldn't find toilet paper anywhere, but you guys could easily run to the clinic and do curbside pickup and grab the food. And it was always there for you and convenient. So I mean, that probably made it so much easier to stay on track knowing that you had all the foods there. Fruits and vegetables may have been a little bit harder to find during that time, but you do what you can.
Yep,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
we definitely made sure we had our shakes and our meals, so we were good to go.
Awesome.
And James, you said cold entree. In Massachusetts, my entrees in my car are cold. You can't say cold. You need to say room temperature.
I'll say room temperature. Okay.
But that was neat for you to just share too. Like even on a job site, there's a lot of situations where we might say, well, you know, I'm not going to be able to have my meal because I don't have access to a microwave. Or how can I really get in my shakes when I'm on the go and I'm away from my home for hours? So would love for you to talk a little bit more about that too, James, because a lot of folks have scenarios like yours.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I'd get up in the morning and I always already had my meal set, ready to go, was already sitting on the counter. I'd go out, get ready for work. I'd have my 2 shakes in the morning. So they were nice and thick enough where that would fill me up till break time. And then, you know, right around lunch, I'd have my 1 room temperature entree. And then I'd get home and, you know, I'd have my fruits and vegetables, and then get home and I'd just have another shake, and dinner time would come around, and meal number 2 would come up. So I mean, it was just easy, convenient. Like I said, didn't have to worry about it. Didn't have to really plan out my day. It was already pretty much right in front of me. So
Nice.
I'm curious, how did you pack the fruits and vegetables to have at work? Did you prepare them ahead of time or just kind of do like raw?
just raw. I would, a banana, an apple, a couple cuties, oranges, whatever. It was just, I just throw in my bag and get to work with. So
Yep. So the convenient ones. Yeah. Cause I mean, some people obviously can spend a lot of time preparing, but it's easy to do a banana or like you said, the cuties and apple things that you can kind of grab and go.
Yep. Just
And
something
you totally hit on the convenient thing. 'Cause that's the thing that we've really tried to, I think that's kind of where you can get in trouble and gain weight sometimes, right? Is because you're busy, you're looking for convenient prepackaged foods, and a lot of times it's high sodium, overly processed foods.
Mhm.
So it's like through, kind of rewriting the script and going healthier, it's like we're looking for convenient but healthy options. Like even if it's like already pre-cut watermelon or pre-cut pineapple, even if you have to pay like $1 more,
Worth it.
It's convenient so that that'll help us stay on track. It's like, I'm so more than willing to do.
Totally. I'm glad that you mentioned that because sometimes it is obviously a little more expensive to buy the pre-cut, but you might be more likely to actually eat them. If you buy like whole fruits or a whole, pineapple or watermelon, it might just go bad if it's not, prepared. Cause it's like, I don't want to spend the time cutting it up and everything. So sometimes it's worth it, cause then you're not wasting the money with the food going bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I call that, I tell my husband, I splurge for convenience. And I have no problem doing that. I'm going to splurge for convenience. Like you were saying too, Sharon, it could go bad because you might not eat it if you have to cut it, but also I might not actually stop to cut it at the time I need it.
Right.
And then I could be reaching for something else. And also, like both of you had said too, the foods are just so convenient. And in a culture where I could click a button right now and have food brought to my office during the session. I mean, it's that easy to get high calorie food. I drop off my kids at school and I have to pass like 12 fast food places on the way. So to know that we have our own portable fast foods that, you can eat the entree cold or room temperature, bring a shake in a thermos or even in a shaker bottle. I know, Angie, you've mentioned the bars have been really useful for you. The portability and the convenience of our foods are so great. I know a lot of our folks too, Sharon, have commented on how useful the foods are to them too.
Yeah, I'm seeing Danette, she said the shakes are kind of like a treat. In phase 1, I used extracts to flavor them. They were delicious. In phase 2, I jam pack my smoothies with fruits and veggies. It's a great way to hit the fruit and veggie minimums.
Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. And then Kelly Jo said, I feel completely satisfied and healthy eating the HMR foods. I feel so much better and my body feels it. Yeah, so keep commenting.
Bob said, I've never been hungry on HMR food and doing more is better. And folks, that's a concept of having more than the minimums. And then I want to welcome Lily to the program. I just started the program this past Monday. Working from home an entire year during COVID has made me gain more weight than I could have imagined. And so many people were dealing with that. So just joining 1 week in, and she wrote, I saw an ad on Facebook, decided to give it a try. I am, and I've stayed in the box and will continue to do so.
Good job.
Awesome.
Good job.
That's
Such
awesome.
an awesome start. Congratulations, Lily.
Yeah, really awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. So as you guys are just joining, I see a lot of people kind of hopping on and just joining us. So welcome. I'm Coach Sharon D. And we've got Coach Kate here. And then we're with Angie and James. They were talking about their amazing journey and success on the HMR program. So I'm going to throw out another kind of topic question to you guys, as well as everyone watching, so you guys can comment. So there's this whole kind of notion of willpower. And a lot of people, I've heard this plenty of times when I was coaching, a lot of people feel like they need to use their willpower to get through certain challenges and to avoid tempting foods. And they might say like, oh, I just need more willpower. Like I don't have willpower right now. I need more of it, or it's, my willpower is terrible. But I think we all know that we just can't rely on willpower. It actually gets weaker the more we use it. It doesn't get stronger. It actually gets weaker and weaker until we finally, give in to whatever the temptation is. So for everyone watching, I'd love for you to comment and just say, what it is about willpower that you just can't rely on. Like, why can't we rely on willpower when you're working on a diet or healthy lifestyle? And then Angie and James, love to hear from you guys. And I'd love for you to expand a little bit on willpower and, why that doesn't work for most people and what you do instead.
For me, I think to avoid like tapping out your whole willpower reserve, for me, like the environmental control would really come in, like making sure like bad stuff doesn't enter the house. Or if I'm at work, like pre-pandemic when we were working in the office, if there were like potlucks or whatever, I would just kind of like sequester myself like at my desk and like try to avoid even like looking at the yummy food, and just brought my lunch with me and just kind of sat there, maybe my earbuds in, listen to a podcast and just eat my food.
I'd get pictures from her.
Yeah.
Look what these guys are eating, and there'd just be smorgasbord of food. And she's like, I'm just in my office having my fruits and vegetables. Oh yeah.
Good for you.
And also the more is better. Like that definitely on days where I'm like, I'm craving, I really need like a nice big satisfying meal. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have, extra broccoli, extra cauliflower. I might have 8 servings of fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
Day, instead of the 5, or maybe I'll have a third entree and do like a double entree of the pasta for dinner with a salad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the more is better definitely was very supportive for me.
So that's so hard for people to get their heads around because, we kind of have years of thinking or having these voices in our head, like, I should eat less if I want to weigh less. I should push myself away from the table, 8 veggies and fruits, like that's a ton of food. So, what kind of got you guys to go all in? Did you hear examples of other people? Did you try it yourself and then realize like, wow, I can do this and then still see the results?
I think for me, I was just trying to create as much of a reality that seemed maintainable, that it was like, okay, if I'm having more, it seems counterintuitive, but if it's less calorie dense stuff, if it's stuff that's good for me, like it can't be bad. And I don't want to get in like a cycle of feeling like I'm depriving myself and then I end up failing because you're depriving and then you end up binging on something, a pint of Ben and Jerry's or something. So I was trying to kind of keep it realistic to something that I knew would be like sustainable for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never a guarantee, but am I going to bet on Angie staying on track after she's had, tons of fruits and vegetables and our HMR food and consistently eating versus when a lot of time goes by, all bets are off in terms of us making the choice that we want for sure. James, what would you add?
Gosh, I think it was,
You were more in the box.
I was more of an in the box kind of guy. I didn't, the foods were just filling enough for me. I didn't really need any extra. If anything extra, like I'd do a little a bigger salad or a lot more fruit or something like that. But never really doubled up on the meals. They were pretty filling for me, and just watching her was my motivation. That's the real reason I got going. So
incredible.
Awesome.
Sharon, we have some nice comments about willpower.
Yeah, I'm seeing some here. Lori said willpower is inconsistent and unreliable. I couldn't agree more. Susan says because hunger is too instinctual. When you want to eat, you want to eat. Exactly. It's you're fighting your own brain chemistry. Bob said, I'll try to depend on willpower. I'll always fail. You are not alone, Bob. We all will. Let's see, Sandra, better for me to not have certain foods in my house instead of relying on willpower, which is a lot of what you guys just mentioned. It's not about, trying to white knuckle it and try to rely on willpower. It's about setting yourself up for success and getting rid of certain foods in your house, making sure you have the right foods. James, you mentioned, being prepared at work and when you're, on site, you need to make sure that you have things there and you're planned and you're ready. So that's a lot more doable than relying on willpower, is actually being prepared and using
Sure.
that as your success tool.
For sure.
I wanted to comment just for a minute. Dixie had wrote, how do I feel successful when my weight loss has been about 1.5 pounds a week for 10 weeks? I started decision free in November. It's hard when others are losing weight a lot quicker. And one thing that I will say is that we can kind of get this HMR, I don't want to say strange vision, but like we hear these other examples and then, down 1.5 pounds a week for 10 weeks, from my perspective, is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I know it can feel natural to want to compare ourselves to others, but everyone is different. And of course, everyone is at a different weight. And this is a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it's not going to happen in a straight line. So I just want to, thank you, Dixie, for sharing your story and, give you kudos. Of course, if you're having a hard time staying in the box, our community, the HMR site, all of us are here to support you with some new recipes and strategies. But I want you to know that that's really, really great results, and everyone's going to be a little bit different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep. Couple other comments that I want to mention. Suzanne said stress is kryptonite for willpower, which is so true. I mean, we all deal with different stresses. And in that situation, when you're feeling stressed or exhausted, you just have so much going on. The last thing you want to do is use your willpower to resist any tempting foods you have around. You have to have other tools in your toolbox and other ways to stay on track. And one more that I'll mention is Kelly Jo. She says there have been times throughout this year where sheer willpower just isn't enough. I've been surrounded by food temptations everywhere I went, mostly at work, family get-togethers, but I have to stay determined. She said, I was faced with stressful situations all year, compounded with COVID restrictions, and I think we're all dealing with so much stress this year. And it's not enough, to focus on willpower. It's not enough to rely on willpower.
True. Yeah. One of the things that I often tell myself too is what I might be able to say no to at 9 a.m, I know I can't say no to at 9 p.m. So you just don't want to leave anything up to chance.
I totally agree.
Great. So you guys shared a lot of incredible quotes to us, and really shared with us some of the things that you did throughout your journey. And I wanted to share one with the audience. And folks, you might want to write this down. I'm going to share it twice. And that is HMR. And this is one you said, Angie. HMR gave me the treasure map with instructions how to find myself again. HMR gave me the treasure map with instructions on how to find myself again. So I have chills when I hear that quote, Angie, and would love to just hear a little bit about why you shared that to us and what that means to you.
I think just with the ease of the HMR plan, that it really is, you're given like a roadmap on success, and you just follow it. You just do. You don't have to overthink it. You just kind of take this roadmap, and you're going to be on the path to success. And I think, in looking back, it's like that really was like a treasure map. Like the HMR guidelines was like someone handing me a treasure map. Like here's how you can get back to the person the person you recognize, the person who feels like you, both inside and out. And it's like, it still blows my mind, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around where we are now, where I am now, and the fact that I even got to where I was blows my mind. So it's like to have found myself back to myself is like, there's no words. It's so hard for me to find words for it.
Yeah.
I think you found the perfect words with that treasure map. That's truly inspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure other folks too can just relate to not recognizing themselves. And of course, that could be physically not recognizing ourselves, but also just not really recognizing the person that we've become. So just to hear that you really felt like you found yourself in the journey was really amazing.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Really awesome. So Angie, I wanted, yes. Awesome. Angie, I wanted to hear a little bit about when we talked before, you mentioned being on the diet and missing the crunch. And I know so many people who are watching can relate to this. It's like that texture thing, you know, you want something crunchy, you want something satisfying. So what did you do like in those moments? How did you deal with those cravings?
Well, at first I just got hangry and didn't understand what was happening until I identified what it was. Like, what am I missing? Why am I feeling so irritable? I'm like, oh my God, I need something crunchy, and like celery and apples aren't quite doing it. It's like I need a different type of crunch. And then that's when I realized, okay, I got to lean into the bars. The bars really did it. You know, that there was like the Rice Krispie crunchiness to it, as well as the chewiness, and then potatoes. Doing my homemade little like nachos of, you know, cutting the potatoes in like medallion shapes, grilling them so that they're nice and like crispy, and topping them with all things that are in the box, like avocado, salsa, some of the
Wow.
chicken entrees, fat-free sour cream. That was so satisfying. Not only because potatoes were satisfying, but the crunch and the feeling of wanting some nachos. So those were my two like go-tos to help alleviate that crunch hanger.
I love that. I've done that before, sweet potato nachos, and you just add like you said, salsa. I've added like mango and like cilantro. You can add your own seasonings. It tastes really good. It's very satisfying.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And someone also mentioned, Susan said veggies in the air fryer with cooking spray and garlic salt. I have not tried an air fryer before, but I've heard it's a great way to get that like nice texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you use the bars? Was it a certain time of day? Was it more home, out? Did you have a certain flavor that you loved the most?
So for me, mine would have been usually like at work, when we were in the office. So it would be like the afternoon, like an afternoon snack. But for him, it's a dessert bar for him.
Yeah.
And he likes eating it over the sink. We call it his sink bar. So that's like his dessert, eating the bar over the sink, getting his crunch.
Yeah, it's my before bedtime snack. I just grab a bar about an hour before bed and
Yeah.
sit in front of the sink and eat it. So
That's awesome. Great.
So HMR is really supportive to someone like him who has a huge sweet tooth because of the shake, the bars, you know, supportive ways to be able to feed those cravings.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And for anyone who didn't hear that, sweet tooth, I totally agree. I've heard a lot of people say that before too. Having a sweet tooth, you know, you hit all those cravings because you've got the bars that are sweet and crunchy and the shakes, and, you know, you can enjoy all the sweetness.
Totally.
And on the same topic of recipes and eating, Angie, you like kind of just snuck in there that you won a recipe contest when we talked the other day. So tell us about that.
So we had, I believe it was just within our San Diego clinics, but it was a recipe contest to be able to use all the stuff that in the box ingredients, the vegetables, the entrees. Yeah, and then I won with the potato nacho little creation. And that was awesome. I got to win some free like HMR products, so even better.
That's really cool. I love that. That's awesome.
Angie, you or we will have to post your famous award-winning recipe in our site.
Yeah, you'll have to send it to us.
Yes, I got it from our coach Lauren. I think made like a recipe book with it, so I'll have to forward that to you guys.
Cool.
Nice.
And big shout out to Lauren, I have to say, who is so amazing. I can't stop singing her praises. She has been such an amazing coach throughout this. Always a wealth of information. Always there to answer any food questions I have. Like she's just awesome.
That's awesome.
So big props to her.
Yeah, huge shout out. So before Kate, you kind of dive into our last like sort of segment, I guess, of the night, I'm gonna throw up the before and after pictures one more time, just so we can see those before we end.
Nice. And of course, for folks who are just joining us, because I know that people join us at all different times, we are celebrating Angie and James, hearing their story. I think Coach Sandy, who's moderating the health coach feed, said earlier, the pictures say 1,000 words. So if folks are joining late, you will be able to go back and watch the video. And just wanted to bring another perspective that Angie and James, you shared to us. And it was so compelling to us. We actually titled the evening's event around it. And what you said to us was, our world got bigger as we got smaller.
For sure.
Our
Yes.
world got bigger as we got smaller. So just wanted you both to be able to share what you mean by that.
So many things, like our world got bigger figuratively and literally. Like figuratively in the sense that I think we just had, for me at least, that I felt more confidence. I felt like I had a new lease on life, a new outlook. Like possibilities of life in this world just seemed endless. Even in the middle of a pandemic, like I was still feeling this like openness and optimism. But also like literally and physically, like our world felt like it got bigger because we were taking up less real estate in our house,
We'd always
even,
joke
or
that
our car, or
Yeah, we'd always joke that our houses, did it grow? What's going on here? Our house is, 3 times bigger, No, we just actually shrunk a little bit. So,
Right.
Yes.
so we'd always kid about that. So it's been quite an adventure.
yes, absolutely.
Didn't you guys joke that you maybe lost a big roommate?
Yes,
Yeah.
we had a very overweight roommate. Like, wow.
And people are celebrating you. Candace wrote, amazing. Angie looks like she's beside her mother. And then Jennifer in the feed wrote, you guys look, in all quotes, fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lily is curious about your physical activity. She's just curious, what you were able to fit in an hour in a day. And just if you could speak a little bit about that, if you guys wouldn't mind.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I would, not only is my job physical or whatever, but I'd get home from work and we just live right down from a lake, and I'd go walk, hour and a half, 2 hours a day after work. And on the weekend, I'd do, a bunch of laps Saturdays and a Sunday. So it was basically just a lot of walking, a little bit of weightlifting. Other than that, it was majority of just walking and the HMR program. That's really all it did for all I was doing. So, and it turned out great.
Yeah.
And for me, my PA is kind of a little more varied. So I would do a lot of walking as well. Like we've done some virtual walks, like some virtual 5Ks with like for the Los Angeles Angels or for Kaiser Permanente, like some different virtual events. We have one coming up for the San Diego Humane Society, which we're very excited about. But also I leaned in, especially during the pandemic, leaned into YouTube a lot.
Nice.
Because beginning of the lockdown, everyone was walking. It's like all of a sudden everyone realized they can go walking. So I'm like, oh, there's so many people. So I'm like, I'm gonna stay inside for a little bit. So leaned into YouTube, a lot of yoga, a lot of strength training, a lot of cardio routines. And one thing that I've maintained is to do daily yoga. Like I really found like a flow that I really like. So I try to end each day with like a half hour to an hour of yoga.
Yeah.
Kind of just centers everything from the mind to the body. Then I can go to sleep.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a transformation, it's a journey, and I know it's a lot. And you guys also shared with us, I'd love for you to share the audience about some of the fun things that you did with each other, your inspirations, your boards, if you can update us on those too.
Well, I'll start with Angie made us an inspiration board that hangs right on our door that goes out to the garage. So, whenever we notice something or, something big happen, weight loss or anything like that. Well, for me, it was, I could see my ears, besides the beard here, I could see my ears for years. So I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, where are my ears at? So after, a couple of weeks of weight loss, I was like, babe, I could see my ears. So I went over there, drew some ears on the board. And then after that, we just kept writing, lost this much, went down a shirt size, a pant size. So that really kept us going also, just because you can just see exactly what you're doing and you had proof of it. So it was awesome.
I love that.
Ears thing. I was rolling. Really the first
It
thing
was
that
it was the
entered on
only thing that
board.
was on the board.
So
Yeah.
I was all excited. I thought, ooh, he put something on that. I went to go see what he wrote, and I can see the ears with an illustration of a set of ears. I just completely lost it. I was like, what does that even mean? I guess my face had been so puffy, I couldn't see as much. I'm like, that's an amazingly astute observation that I would have never even thought to like connect. So that became like a fun place to like commemorate those little mini milestones, funny things.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also, so to create kind of more of our visually like supportive environmental control, we instituted the Gratitude Cafe.
Love it.
So during the pandemic, to help keep our spirits high and to keep us caffeinated and keep us on track, we like implemented afternoon coffee where we'd sit down and say what we were grateful for that day and grateful for with each other, just to kind of keep us on track, because it's, you know, COVID, quarantine, and everything has been hard on everybody and hard to keep you on any sort of positive path, much less some like a really, you know, important like health journey.
Yeah.
So that really helped kind of be like a daily focus, a daily we're checking in with each other. And so that I think that helped a lot.
Sure.
And then just decorating, probably can't see.
Oh, no, we can see.
I've been creating all these little like inspirational cards.
Be better, get better, thrive. Those are
Love
awesome.
that.
To kind of make myself feel like, okay, I'm worthy of,
Ah,
I'm worthy of, you know, continuing on this path and, you know, kind of revamp our house.
oh, nice.
All these different prints using photography of our own photography.
Yeah, I'm gonna say those photos are from her, and I think there's one of me,
Yeah.
mine in there, but
Yeah.
yeah, just different things just to
So
keep
making
keep going,
everything,
yeah.
a positive space to keep thriving.
That's
So
awesome. You
much to
guys,
be thankful for.
so
Yeah.
much to be thankful for. And like you said, this was a tough year for so many people, and a lot of focus was on like just trying to be grateful for what you can. And you guys really worked on your physical health, but it seems like you worked on your like emotional well-being as well, and just being grateful and happy for the lives that you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's really
sure,
amazing.
for sure.
That's awesome. So we're going to wrap up in just a minute, but before we do that, I just want to ask you guys, how are you feeling about kind of continuing on with this healthy lifestyle that you've established and managing and maintaining the weight that you've lost?
I actually feel more confident than I've ever felt in any weight loss endeavor. Because I think, you know, maybe I'm also at an age where I know that I want it to be a lifestyle. I'm not 18, and it's not just about looking a certain way. Like, you know, I'm older now. Like, it's more about having a general happiness and well-being and health. So it's like more important things that motivate me to stay on track. But I feel like it's also doing this whole process has really flipped the script on so many things with me. I think like now I find myself craving the healthier foods, which that's one of the most bizarre things that I did not see coming. I did not see that. I'd be like, I can't wait for the morning so I can have my pineapple and watermelon and some almonds. Like, what? Did not at all see that coming. So
That's
I really
amazing.
feel more confident than ever that this is something that, you know, we're motivated to stick to and that we will.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and there's just seeing the results. I mean, that's motivation enough right there. I mean, even if it's not boom bang right out of the box, you start losing a bunch of weight. It's just over time. Just take your time, and it's all going to come through. I mean, I never thought I'd be walking marathons or walking around a lake or you know, or walking to get healthy. You know, who would have thought about that? You know, who would have thought that would have worked, or you know, a diet would have worked. But you know, it really just, you know, it's like a mindset now that I'm focused on just continuing to be healthy, and that's the main part. So yeah, don't even think about it.
You guys have just totally like retrained and like reframed your whole mind and your lifestyle. It's just totally new.
Exactly. I remember I'd come home and be like, I'm just gonna sit on the couch, blah blah. But no, I get home. If I come in the house, I'm gonna sit on the couch. I got my shoes, my running short or my walking shorts out there in the garage. I put them on, and before I even walk in the house, I go walk 2-3 miles. You know, just something to just
Don't even give you a chance.
Don't even get a chance to relax. You know, just go. You know, and it kind of with me, it it helps me kind of think about the day and how it went. I got my time. It's me, you know,
Yeah.
it's my space. I could just, oh, there's nobody there. Put my earbuds in and just go and just think about and reflect on the day. So it's
Totally.
really good.
It's so
Awesome.
important to have that me time. And it's so clear that you two have totally fallen in love with a healthy lifestyle, the
Yep.
foods, the activity. We are going to summarize in a moment. But before we do, just any final advice or words of wisdom that you want to offer to our audience?
I think kind of just touching on, I forget who the name of the participant who said she was kind of feeling frustrated with her 1.5 pound weight loss. I think my biggest advice is to not let it get you down. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think that you're doing something wrong. You're doing everything right, and it will catch up with you. Like the scale, it will start reflecting bigger numbers. Just keep on with it, and don't be defined by what the scale says also. And if there are a few bad weeks, don't be defined by that. Like, let your response to that week be what defines you. Like, be resilient, keep on, with the journey, and just know that the good thing is there. The light at the end of the tunnel is there.
That's so nice.
She said it all.
Yeah. When we beat ourselves up, it doesn't do us any good. It doesn't help us move forward and continue for sure. So that's just really nicely stated, Angie.
Oh, thanks.
All
Beating
right,
ourselves
folks.
up what gets us in the position we're in, right?
Say that again.
Beating ourselves up is kind of what gets you in the bad, dark days to begin with. So
Exactly.
it's learning to unwind that behavior is hard, but
so
helpful.
true.
It's
Yep.
doable.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's so worth it. So it's been such a fun evening. We hope that this conversation was helpful. We certainly hope to hear more from Angie and James. Please keep sharing your stories and your amazing work. We'll make sure you post that recipe that won that contest.
Yes.
And just wanted to thank our audience for sharing your time with us too. If you know anyone who might be interested in HMR, who maybe really could benefit from kicking off this journey, just please share this video. Have a great week, and we will be back next Thursday.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye,
everyone.
thank you.